We are introducing a new capability today. Our agent can now make a phone call, and configuring that is pretty simple and comes at no cost if you have existing SIP provider. So let me head over how it could be done. So once you create the scenario, which can be done in a couple of minutes, I'll just pick this particular scenario, and you have to go to the phone call integration here. And the step one is that you have to provide SIP details. For example, what is the SIP endpoint or the termination URL? How do we authenticate to this endpoint, the username and the password, and what's the phone number we could use? Then you have to put the concurrency depending on the SIP provider. You would get like 10, 15, 100 concurrency that you have to put the number here. I'll walk you through how to do this configuration later in this video. So once your SIP configuration is done, there are two ways to make the phone call. The first one is the batch method. So here you just upload a CSV with list of phone numbers, and we'll go number by number, make a call, record the transcript, and do the analysis and let you know what really happened. The second approach is that you can manually make a call, schedule it at a particular time, and review the results. So for example, I could make a call to Ajitesh. I took a number here and I just want to call now. I added the name here so that it's easy for me to identify. Now I should get the call any moment, which I just got. So let me just switch it on. And hello.
Hello? Who is this?
Hi, I'm Ajitesh calling from Code Review team. Is this a good time to speak to you?
I'm a bit tied up, but all right, you've got a minute. What's this about?
Okay, so I know you are pretty busy. What we do is that we build an application for code review, and what we have seen in the deployment and production is that it can reduce the time it takes to find bugs by get a PR reviewed and approved by 80% almost, and this can find bugs that humans can also not find. So this overall improves your quality and reduces the PR review time in your organization.
All right, you're talking about reducing PR review time and finding bugs humans miss. But hang on. Can you give me a concrete example of the kind of bug you catch that something like GitHub doesn't?
Right, I know GitHub has also launched this particular feature. So our PR reviewed solution also has organization-wide rules, and it can make sense of entire code base structure. So even if, let's say, a change is made in a file which is not part of the PR, but it's get impacted because of the file that is being code changed, we could identify those bugs. Similarly, we can identify the patterns from your reviewer and make sure that the style patterns are also adhered to.
That's still a bit vague. What's a specific bug type you're catching that GitHub is missing? Are we talking cross-file issues, architectural flaws? What exactly?
So I'll cut the call here, but basically it's a normal conversation like you do on our app. And this time what happens that anytime this conversation happens, like a similar that you do on our application, you get the transcript, you could analyze, and you get the whole score that what really happened. So this is the end-to-end picture on how it happens on our website. Now what I'll do is walk you through that how you can get the SIP configuration details and put it out in our phone configuration. So let's wait a couple of seconds for this analysis to complete so that we can take a look as well. So this analysis is done, and it can also be come on your email that how was my opening, closing, and other things. Now, how do you set up the SIP configuration? So before that, let me walk you through certain concepts here. So what we are trying to do here is that Tuftung AI uses internet to make all the connection when you interact with it. What we do now that we use the SIP providers like Twilio and Telnyx to use the PSTN network. And this is pretty powerful because now in the areas where the internet connectivity is lower and telephone network is good, we could use that and provide a much better experience. Second, in some use cases, for example, in cold call and other, where the real experience happens on the phone, you could create a more realistic experience by making a phone call kind of scenario. Now, these are the use cases. The steps required here is that across the provider, where it's Telnyx, Twilio, these sort of steps that you need to follow. The step one is that you create a SIP trunk. This is generally would be by SIP trunk connection or SIP domain, some wording like that. You have to click that and create. Now, what it will do is that it will create a termination endpoint. It might ask you that to provide some user-provided string, and then it will give you the termination endpoint. And then you have to set up the username and password. Now, we in turn will use this configuration, details to connect to that termination endpoint and then use the PSTN network. Now, at the last step, you also need to assign the phone number that you might have purchased earlier or you can purchase at that time, and then pull all of these details and put into Tuftung AI. Now, let me take an example of Twilio where all of these configuration lives and how you can configure it. So I'll head over to the Twilio website. The step one for you is to just go to the and search Elastic SIP trunk, then create a new SIP trunk here. I'll give it a name, let's say test4, and hit create. Now, once you do that, you get this kind of interface here. So the first thing you need to do here is to set the termination endpoint. So here I will give a termination endpoint a name. So let's say test5. So this test5.pstn.twilio.com, this becomes your termination URL. Then what you need to do is to set up the credential here. So I'll pick here and I'll also call it test4 or 5, what we had. I'll call it test5. I'll give it a name. I'll ask Google to use it, and then I'll just hit create. Now my credentials are set up, so I just have to hit save here. So my SIP trunk is now ready. I don't need to set up origination. I need to set up the number, assign a number to it. So I'll go here, add number, add an existing number. I have this number. I'll just add this, move it here, and add the number. So now you have the number, you have the SIP configuration, SIP endpoint, you have the authentication username and password, which you should note down, and then head over to any scenario in our portal, which I can pick from here again, and go to the phone connection and apply those things in the updated configuration, and you should be able to connect. So let us know if you have any question. Happy to answer those. Thank you so much.